Hi, in this video, we're gonna see how to create an ETL pipeline with data quality check with using AWS Glue. So here, we're gonna use an S3 bucket which is acting as a source of raw data. We're gonna keep our raw data in this S3 bucket and we will use AWS Glue. So in the AWS Glue, we're gonna use the crawler which actually crawls the data from source and produces AWS Glue Data Catalog. Now, what happened is, your data got extracted from source and that is converted into AWS Glue Data Catalog, which is nothing but a format of SQL database. Yeah. Now, with using here, so here your data is now present in AWS Glue. Now, how we can use data quality checks in front of it and get the your data checked with the set of rules to make sure that your data which you are extracting through the ETL pipeline are to the mark of data quality, right? So what we do is we're gonna use data quality rules which AWS Glue provides natively to check on the data qualities, and finally we're gonna output that data quality check result into a bucket, a destination bucket called data quality result. In the sense, so why we need to do this is in the sense, in the ETL, basically extract, transform, and load. We will be dealing with lots of raw data. Those raw data has to be refined. So before you refine, you need to make sure that your data is up to the mark of certain quality, and that quality can be checked with a set of data quality rules. So data quality rules are already available in AWS Glue. We will see that and how we can use that and helps us to check on a data quality level. All right, so with that being said, I will take you to the my AWS account. So this is my AWS account. Currently I'm in S3 bucket. So if I go to the my S3 bucket page, so I have an S3 bucket, that is our source S3 bucket, which contains a CSV file. So if I show you this CSV file, how does it looks is it has some dummy data, which is acting as a here it is acting as a raw data. So what I have is I have a column 0, column 1, and column 2. What we do is we try to extract this data, put it in our AWS Glue catalog, and once that is there, we're going to apply the data quality rules, and we see that so how does the data quality rules behaves on these rules. All right, so with that being said, so this is our source bucket. Now I will take you to the another tab. So this is my another Google Chrome tab. So currently I'm in AWS Glue. In the AWS Glue, what I do is I will go to the crawler in data catalog, and then I will click on create catalog. So here we need to go give a name of the crawler called, say, like data extract from source. Okay, I will just give a meaningful name to this crawler. So as I said in the previous minute, so here we have a source and we are using crawler and producing AWS Glue catalog. So on that Glue catalog, we can execute our data quality rules in a ETL job, which I'm going to show you now. So here we are creating a crawler now. So I'm going to go to the default, and here in the data source, we're going to choose our data source as S3 bucket. Network connections, I'm not going to use it. We use a location of the S3 bucket, that is nothing but a bucket which I showed you with a data, right? So we're going to choose this S3 bucket, and then I'm going to put a / here. Rest all option, I'm going to keep it a default and click on add a source. And then we're going to next. In the next, basically here you need to choose an IAM role. So in this case, I'm using the ETL Lambda access role. Basically, this is an admin role. With a trust belongs to the with a trust relationship having given to the AWS Glue services, Lambda services. In the sense, this is a perfect IAM role for demo purpose, but for the production workloads, you might need to make the role with a minimum privilege. All right, so I will take you to the next step. So if I click on next step, so here we need to set up our output and scheduling configuration. So in the output here, our output would be in a AWS Glue catalog, right? So we're gonna add a databases of AWS Glue catalog. So what we do is I'm going to click on add databases, and here I will give a name of my Glue data catalog database, say called as a demo. Let me call it as a demo DB. Yeah. So I'm going to create the database name called as a demo DB, and if we go to this button and refresh it, we should be able to see that targeted database demo DB table name, you can give the prefix of table name, something like I will call it as a ETL underscore. Yeah. So or let me call it as a data quality underscore. Yeah. So what does this mean is, when once the crawler runs and creates a table, the table will be prefixed with this name. This is just a convention. Okay, this is not like a mandatory. So with that being said, I'm going to create the crawler by clicking on the create crawler got created. So if you refresh the crawlers page, you should see our data extraction from source crawler is ready. I'm going to run this crawler, which actually initiates the first step of the demo. So if you see here, basically our job is already running, so we cannot run it again. So if you refresh it here, currently it is in a running stage. So I will go back to the diagram again. So what we did is we built a crawler. In the sense, we defined a crawler which actually takes a source raw data and produces a table underneath AWS Glue data catalog table, right? So this is the first part of the this solution. Next, on top of the AWS Glue data catalog data, we're gonna set up certain rules, and we see that how does that rules gets evaluated, and we will see that how does Glue helps us to identify certain rule sets on our data, right? So while it is running, let me give some hints here, right? So ETL is a very big space in the IT industry, and it has its own very vast advantages on the enterprise level, right? So from starting to giving enterprise capabilities of reporting, machine learning capabilities, getting insights, visualization of your business, right? So there are hell lot of possibilities that can happen on ETL. Trust me, ETL is going to be a foundational for any kind of machine learning models or AI technology you want to run. You need to have a foundational data, and that data will be driven by ETL workloads only. All right, because ETL is something, it's a pipeline or it's a technology which will help you to gather your enterprise data, make it in a refined matter, in a refined format, so that on top of this one, the applications like machine learning, AI, reporting, right, or say any other automations, any other application consumption can sit on top of that and consume it. Okay, so that is where applications will be built ahead of the time. So now we are here in the one very basic ETL operation, that is to extract the data from the source and put it in the form of AWS Glue data catalog table. So I see that it is got stopped, which means that we should have a table ready. So I will go back to the table and refresh it. We should be able to see a table now in this one. Here you go, right? So our table is ready. So if I go and open this one, so here we have our table, and the table has a column name 0, 1, 2, 3, which I showed you earlier. And if you see the data type, that is big int, both are other two are strings. So in the partitions, rest all are empty, indexing, so I have not created column statistics. So these are all something like you can explore. Now we are done with the one side. Let's go to the another side, which is the heart of the part, the heart of the particular demo, right? So whatever I'm going to show you here, that is building a data quality rules, is the heart of the demo, right? So what we do is, now I will go to the ETL. So basically now we will build a data integration ETL. In that ETL, we will create a ETL job with using visuals, that is visual ETL, which is very easy to consume. So I prefer to give the demo with using this option. Whereas you can also build the pipeline with using programmatic. But I would say why you need to break the head, right? So when visualized options are very good enough. All right, so here we will choose our source as AWS Glue data catalog. So here AWS Glue data catalog is acting as a source now. On top of the data present in this AWS Glue catalog will become a source to the our data quality check. Okay, so that's what we're gonna see now. So I will click on this one. Let's set up the configurations. Okay, so first I will change the title. That is nothing but data quality check. I'll just make it as a data quality check. I will say demo. Yeah. So this is our name of the ETL job. In now we're gonna configure our first step, that is acting as a source. In this one we need to choose the database, that is demo database, and after that you need to choose a table as well. So our table should be data quality table. Now if you see in the left hand side, there is a data preview option is coming. So we're gonna use that ETL lambda access role. and click on a start session, which means that with using that IAM role, you can preview the data present in this the data catalog, where the input to that particular stage is given as a database name is this one and table, right? Now basically while you are building the pipeline, you can also preview the what is the thing happening in that stage, right? So currently you see that it is doing a data preview, which actually nothing but it extracts the data present from this database and from this table and tries to show you in the form of a table, right? Like this is just like an SQL query that you are running on this database and this table and getting the output. Currently it is starting, and then percentage of completion is 60%. Now we will just wait for this to complete. So once this is done, we're gonna go to the next option, that is actually doing the data quality rules. So as you see here, currently it is working, and it is looks to be 100% perfect. So what we do is basically here we are actually visualizing the data. So while it is running, I'm not going to make you wait, but I'm going to show you something. If I go to this one, download, if I open this one, right? So whatever the data present here, we should be able to see the same data in the background, right? So I'll just make it minimum. So you see that 100% complete. So whatever the data that you see here will be visualized there. That's how it will be. That's right. So basically that's what I said. So we will have a column 0, 1, 2, 3, and the data present in that S3 bucket now available in the AWS Glue Data Catalog, right? Now that is our first step. Now next step we need to go, right? So our next step is actually transform, right? So in the transform, so whatever I'm telling you, whatever the demo I'm showing you for the data quality is nothing but it's a part of a transformation, right? So in that case, we will use a transformation step called evaluate data quality. So I'm going to add that now into this pipeline, in this ETL pipeline, right? So we are constructing the ETL pipeline, and we are taking the help of the native capabilities of AWS Glue to build that pipeline. Yeah. So this is the major part of the the solution, that is how to evaluate the data quality. Now you have a data which is present in Glue Data Catalog. You need to put some rules in front of that and try to evaluate whether your data is right or not. So how to do that? So, okay, so you need to add that stage called evaluate data quality. So once you select that option, and if you go to the to the right hand side, which I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. So let's keep this picture available for you like this, and I'm selecting this one. Now you see that so here is basically node parent name is AWS Glue Data Catalog, which means input to this particular stage is nothing but coming from AWS Glue Data Catalog. Yeah. Now if you see the down the line, so this is where we need to build our rules, right? So once you see here, that is rule set data editor, that is rule set editor, right? So rule set editor, it has two options, that is rule set. In the rule set editor, we have a inbuilt rules type, and in the right hand side it is actually a preview of rules that you are selecting to apply on that data. So here what we do is we're gonna apply so few, basically two rules, and we'll try to evaluate. So here you can get more about that particular rule by expanding that particular rule types. So here is aggregate match, right? So check the percentage match of the two aggregate expression. This is something like one type of inbuilt rule set. Okay. Similarly, column count. So in your data, so how much column count is happening, right? That's what it will show. So what we do is we're going to take this column count and put it as our rule set. So I'm going to keep my cursor here. So you need to make sure that you keep the cursor inside this square bracket, so that it will create a list of rules. Okay, so I will gonna keep my cursor there and click on a button called column. So basically what we are doing is count how many columns does this data catalog table has. So we are checking whether does it has a 10 columns. Then you see that automatically it's going wrong. Yeah. So for that case, what we do is so for now I will just keep it default, and then we're gonna add one more rule type called say check if column exists, or say like the completeness. So if we expand this rule, that is check the percentage of completeness, or basically what does this mean is check if column is not null. Yeah, so column value, basically check the value is not null. Yeah, so check the percentage of the complete, that is non null values in a given column. Okay, so I'm going to choose that as well. So completeness, I'm going to choose that as well. So basically, if you see here, we have added um, two um, yeah, we have added two rules. Okay, so likewise you can keep on adding completeness not empty is complete. So instead of completeness, I will just go to the very familiar rules. So basically these are all the set of rules which you can explore on your own. Say like uniqueness, you can check the uniqueness, which means that, so check the percentage of unique values in the column. So basically, if you want to convert a column, if you want to make a particular column as a say like as a primary key, something like that, so in that case you can use this uniqueness. So I'm going to select that as well in front of you. So uniqueness, in the sense, how many percentage of uniqueness are there. Okay, so basically, so in the sense, so basically it will check how many unique columns are there in this particular column A, like that. Yeah, so which also I'm not going to show you in this one. So we will add, so what we are doing is, I'm just walking you through this rule set. You need to explore how to use it. All right, so now we will use the another one which I have already experimented, that is is complete. Yeah, so I'm going to use the is complete, which is nothing but what it tells is basically if the column has non-null values or not. If it is non-null, then the rule gets passed. If it is null, then rule gets failed. Yeah, so basically, yeah, so if you see here, as I am adding the rules in the rules list, in the left hand side you see that the evaluation is happening dynamically. So if I can expand above, we have added two rules, that is column count equal to 10. It is failed. Why? Because our data set has only 3 columns, right? So which means that this condition is fail. So it is evaluating that rule as fail. Now we have a column A, in the sense it is telling that our column, we don't have any column A, right? So we have a 3 columns with the name column 0, column 1. Yeah, so if I change the column to 0, it should be evaluated true, right? So I'm gonna make this again ready. So you see that once I move my cursor outside this rule set editor, it will try to evaluate again, and is complete a rule now passed. Why? So basically, is complete is nothing but is a rule which you evaluate if your column has any null. If it is no null, then which means that it is true. So this rule is true and the above rule is false, failing, right? Now to make you more understand what I do is, I'm going to make it something changing, in the sense we will change the column count to something like column count equal to 3, which means our data set has 3 columns. You see that in the left hand side, in the data preview, these rule set are marked as a pass, right? While the other rule set can also be failing. So if I change it to 4, what does that mean? In the sense, our data set has a 4 columns? No, then the rules gets evaluated false. So this is just a glimpse of rule set, how you can set on your data set, so that you are actually doing a proper and required way of ETL operations. Okay, so that is the main usage of this transformer instant, that is check the data quality. All right, so if I put it 4, now it is failing. Yeah, so let's keep it as 4, just to make you understand what I mean. Now we will add no, I will change it to something like say like a 3, which is true, and then we're going to go to the next the next is primary key. I will just call it we'll add this particular one is primary key. Yeah, so what is our primary key, right? And I'm gonna go back here and try to evaluate. It says, so basically is column, so basically is there in a column called id, and is it a primary one, right? So what does that mean, primary key? In the sense, you need to give our column name, and generally that will be checked whether that column satisfies the need of primary key conditions. Okay, so when you say primary key, which means that can a column become a primary? Yeah, like that. In the sense, if that column has unique value, then you can annotate that particular column as a primary, right? You see that column 0, if I go back to the my csv file like this, and here our column 0 has all unique values, right? So in the sense, there are no repeating values. and all are in the adder. So that's the reason this column is satisfies for this value, basically this column 0 will satisfy for a becoming a primary column. Now we will try to change the column to 1, and we will see what will happen in the left hand side. Okay, so this is something like a playground. Yeah, can play it off. So I'm just changing it to column 1 to check whether that column still satisfies the primary key option. Here you go, right? So looks like the value present in the column 1 also satisfies the need of a primary key, right? So let me make it as a column 1 as well. So I showed you that the primary key is completeness, is uniqueness, mean. Okay, so far now we are good with the 3 rule set for this demo, but in your production side you might can explore more about how to create your own rule set with using whatever the options given here, or you can build your own. Okay, so basically I have not explored how to build our own rule set, but for now if you are using a stage called the evaluate data quality, and in that one we are getting a rule set that is built-in rule set like this. All right, so with using the built-in rule set we have constructed 3 rules, and all the 3 rules are failing. All the three rules are were passing. I changed the value of the is primary key to column 2, which is failing. So if I can go back to the column 0, it should be passing, you see. So if I keep this one to the is primary key, so all our rule set has to be evaluated. All right, so with that being said, what I do is I'm going to save this option. We are good with the the whatever the options we have seen in this rule set. So now what I do is I'm going to go to the the next stage, that is nothing but you want to now output that, so you want to output that particular whatever the output this evaluate data quality step gives us, we need to store somewhere else. Okay, so for that case what you do is you need to go down and try to configure the further configuration. So here data quality transform output, in the sense, do you want a result? Yes, if you click on this one, basically it will generate a result, right? In the sense, whatever the evaluation happens on your data set on data quality will be given as an output. So if you check this mark, that is the next step will be automatically added. Now it also says data quality actions. Okay, so do you want to publish the result to the Amazon CloudWatch? Then you can check mark this one. On the rule set failure, in the sense, what do you need to do when rule set failures? So you can take a certain actions, that is fail the job without loading the data to the target, or fail the job after loading the data target. Okay, something like that. So here we will say fail it when rule set are not getting passed. Generally basically this is the options will be selected on rule set failure. So here where we can store the data quality locations, which I'm going to select the table, something like this. So here we can store the output in this particular bucket and give it as a / yeah. All right, so basically this is how we built, and then now we are actually constructed the the ETL job with this operations. Now what we do is I'm going to run this one. We're going to see that the this bucket, that is bucket will have our result in the form of Parquet. Okay, or we can also do a target here. So let's add a target, that is nothing but till now we added source, we added transform. Now let's add a target, that is nothing but which will sit in front of the this one, that is to the S3 bucket. Okay, so here our target should sit in front of rule set, so we just mark it as something like this. Okay, let me remove this off. I will just delete this off, so I don't need this stage as of now, since my aim was to show you the data quality and outcome. So this is what we are fine. I'm going to save this now, and I will go to the job now. Okay, so once this is saved, I will go back to the ETL jobs. So if you go to the ETL jobs, now we should see our ETL job, that is something written. Okay, now what I do is I'm gonna run this job in front of you, and we will see that what will happen. Basically, if I open this one, currently it is running, so we go to the runs, it's running. So basically what did we configure in this job is we have a data catalog. So I will just go back to the diagram and explain you while it is running. So we have a AWS Glue data catalog, and we build a data quality rules in front of it, and the result of this data quality rule execution will be stored in a data quality result. That's what the pipeline we have built. In the sense, this is what we built as a ETL job here. and that is what we are executing it. It will take nearby 30 seconds or 1 minute, and then we're going to see that the results gets populated in the Parquet S3 bucket. So if I go to the bucket, that is buckets, this is my bucket, and go to the Parquet data bucket. So currently you see that now data started to populate in this Parquet bucket. So I'm going to open this one. You see that so basically it just created a while ago. This is the old file, so we're going to see that does it creates a new file. So let's see. Once this job gets completed, then we are actually good, right? So what I mean to show you in this video is that we can use the AWS data quality rules to check the your data quality actually. Yeah. So let's wait for this to get complete, and then we are pretty much good on it. Yeah. So if I go back to this one, you can also put you can also add the destination to this one, that is target. So you can add a target like this, so it will automatically gets added, and you can also store the the data into this particular pipeline as well. Okay, so now what I do is I'm going to modify this pipeline, which means that the outcomes will be stored in this S3 bucket. Okay, so in what format? That is in the bucket format as well. So that also we can do while the previous job is running. So we're going to keep that in this rules output bucket. Now remember that so basically we are modifying this ETL job for the second time. Yeah. Now rest all operations, I'm going to keep it default. I'm going to save this one, and we go to the rules job and then replace on this one, and check the previous run basically. So if you go to the previous run, so that is still running. You can refresh it off while it is previously running. So you can also wait and or cancel it and run it new instance. So I'm going to run it one more time. So it is failed. Yeah, why it is failed? Because previously it was running, right? So now our job is complete. If I go to the visibles and then go to this this output, sorry, go back to the above one, that is data quality. We were storing this in a particular S3 bucket, right? So if I go to the S3 bucket, that is Parquet bucket data, right? So data quality result location will be stored in this bucket. So I'm going to show you that. That's what the main aim was for. So I go back to the Parquet bucket. So in this bucket, we have a folder called year, month, and then we have a date, that is today date, and here you go, right? So we got a file that is just now got created. This is the file got created. All right, now this is the one shape of the the ETL job. We have actually edited this ETL job after this as well, right? Now I showed you that so basically the output, in the sense this result, that is whether these rules are passed or failed, that data is now kept in these Parquet files. Yeah, these are all Parquet files. Okay. Now what we do is we're going to run this job again, because now that will be stored in another bucket, that is so that will be stored in another dedicated bucket, right? So we added one more stage. So I'm going to run that again, just to basically just to enable you that you can do these modifications on your pipeline. So it will also take certain time. So while it runs, what I do is I'm going to go to the on a hold step, and then I'm going to come back as well. Okay. Okay, so as you see, now it has been a 47 seconds. That job is running. No, it's almost 1 minute. That job is running, which I just now invoked. And where are we doing? What is actually we are doing is nothing, but we want to see the output put in the rules output bucket, which is currently empty. Once that job gets completed, we should see some Parquet files getting loaded in this bucket, which will acting as like a dump of the rule set, in the sense what happened to your rule set, how those were evaluated, what is the output. Okay, something that you can collect in the form of Parquet files and do a monitoring as well. So that's what the the advantage of this tab. So we're gonna wait for a couple of minutes, which is actually the end of my demo basically. So here, so while that is running, let me recap you. So basically what we did is we have used a source data which is present in a S3 bucket, and that is a CSV file. We used AWS crawler, which actually crawls the data from that source raw data and creates AWS Glue data catalog bucket, do data catalog table in a database. Now with using this AWS Glue data catalog DB, we used data quality rules of AWS Glue, and then in the sense we built a 3 rules and evaluated against this AWS Glue data catalog table. We found that all the rules were passing. and then we run the ETL job up to this mark, and then later in front of this one we also added the destination, that is data quality result. In the sense, we are actually storing the data quality result in a data quality bucket as well in the form of a parquet files. So I'm going to refresh it now, just to check whether bucket is the job is succeeded. So this is the second, in the sense the latest run of the job is nothing but contains a output. So if I go to this S3 bucket and refresh it, here you go, right? So we have a parquet file. So in the sense, these parquet files are actually giving you what happened to those rule set on your data. So when those rules were being compiled on your data set, what was the result? So that result is stored in this parquet file. All right. So with that note, I have successfully shown you the things need to be shown in this video. Finally, a kind request, please do subscribe my channel. That would really encourage me a lot. With that note, thank you, thanks a lot, and see you in the next video.